What up, y'all? It's Season Love, SENLUV, that's Uapi, and welcome to another episode of the Money Healing Monologues. Over here at the Money Healing Monologues, I like to open up a space to speak about the development of Black wealth, health, and excellence. So, join me every single Monday where I like to reiterate, reteach, and dissect some shit that I just think that we should talk about as a Black community. Today, we are talking about soul's purpose. Now, as you know, and if you don't, I like to go down who, what, where, when, why, and how format. So we're just going to go down the line and we're just going to talk about it. Firstly, let's start with the definition that I obviously looked up for you. Soul's purpose. Your purpose, a calling, your unique frequency, a universal energy exchange that fulfills you. We're talking about the things that make us happy, essentially, things that fulfill us and make our soul say, yes, thank goodness. Oh my goodness, yes. This is exactly what I need. So we're going to start it off with the who. Who has a soul's purpose? Everybody does. Every single one of you watching this right now has a soul's purpose. Everybody has an innate calling, whether they deny it or not. In this society, we were taught to suppress those intuitive feelings pertaining to the things that we actually want to do. Not a lot of Black people realize their magic. Not a lot of us realize that we are the answer that we have been searching and looking for, because this society has taught us to look for the power outside of us in our external, which is completely, they like to literally turn things completely on their head, like completely do the exact opposite pertaining to how we were conditioned in this society. A lot of the things that are facts and we should have known, like following our intuition, was completely turned on its head. Like, we were taught to completely not follow our intuition and even disregard it at times. What is a soul? That's the question that I came up for. The what? What is a soul? An entity which is regarded as being the spiritual part of the person and which is the cause of the functions of thinking and willing, thus determining all behavior. I think when we're talking about our soul, we're talking about our breath, the very thing that gives us consciousness, and we can tie our breath to literally everything in our body. Like, we need our breath in order to literally do anything. So that breath and our very body, our presence, our energy is our soul. You know what I'm saying? And we all have that. All of us are breathing right now, so all of us have a soul. You know what I'm saying? Whether we listen to that soul or not, whether we listen to our breath or not. You know what I'm saying? Whether we listen to that intuitive sense or not. Which, like I said, a lot of people are taught not to. I said we as a race are connected to something bigger than us, which makes us all one. You know, we are all connected to this earth. Just like Mother Earth breathes, so do we. We are a reflection of her, as she is a reflection of us. Putting me into my where do we see the soul shine through? And the answer that I came up with was through our cognitive function. Now, if you don't know what cognitive is, I looked that up for you as well. Relating to, being, or involving conscious intellectual activity such as thinking, reasoning, or remembering. The concept of learning itself. So the fact that we can judge ourselves and judge things on our external, that is a side of our brain that is working, that is observing, that is making connections, these intuitive things that we naturally do. That's where we see our soul shining through, whether we are conscious of our soul or not. That's the cause of the way that we react in this realm. You following me? Beautiful. Bringing me into my when, the question that I came up for the when was like, when do we like do this? Like, you know what I'm saying, when does this soul become active? When do these intuitive senses become active? The human brain is constantly recognizing and reorganizing itself. So like I said, our first mind, which is connected to our soul, our intuition, our body, our breath, know what I'm saying? That is constantly judging and reacting to the things that occur in our external and our internal. It's made me think of like both the sides of the brain. The left side of the brain is the sequencing, linear thinking, math, the facts, the logic. And then the right side of the brain is the imagination, the intuition, rhythm, holistic thinking, arts. So we can kind of see with that observation, our soul may reside more in the energies of the left side of the brain because it is constantly absorbing, being analytical towards the things that are occurring in your external and in your internal. You feel me? Our soul is the reason, the cause of our cognitive thinking, our soul, our essence, our breath, however that may look like for you, because for each human it is completely different. That is the cause of our cognitive thinking. And then bringing me into the why. Our soul is the answer. Our essence is the answer. Taking our attention away from the distractions will allow us to hear our calling. I think in this society, of course, obviously we were conditioned. In this society, the way that they condition us is by giving us a plethora of things, and making it seem like we have a choice, when in all reality that's their way of manipulating our choice. When connecting it to our soul being the answer, our intuitive feelings being the answer, there's a lot of distractions that are put out for us, literally. Like, there's purposeful distractions that are put in place in order for us to disregard our intuition and disregard our soul's calling and our purpose, so that we can remain complacent in the things that we think that we know. In my opinion, it's so important to listen to yourself and find solitude in order to hear your inner guidance and your inner knowing, so that you can become an individual and you can feel some type of grounded in your own life as an individual entity in this realm. So moving into the how, I came up with 2 questions for the how. I said, how do we do this, and how does this help us? We do this by doing what we want to do and learning not to deny ourselves. Denying ourselves, and like I said, the soul is connected to the intuition, your breath, the body. You know what I'm saying? Listening to the different things that feel natural and acknowledging that your brain is acknowledging all of these things about your mind. You know what I'm saying? It's a little bit of a tongue twist, not even a tongue twister, maybe like a mind flip, to have to observe the fact that you are observing. You know what I'm saying? Because those observations are based off of your soul. You know what I'm saying? However your soul may have manifested in this reality. You know what I'm saying? Whatever your soul is calling you to do, or the feelings that your soul is bringing up, it's so important to be aware of that. And in order to do that, we have to be aware altogether and hold ourselves accountable for the things that we feel. Because I feel like a lot of the times we tend to look to place the blame on the external rather than looking inward and seeing how we could have, or how we could maneuver better in order to manifest a better reality for ourselves. We're not taught to hold ourselves accountable and see ourselves as the problem, because again, the flip side of being taught to look on the external for the answers and look on the external, you know what I'm saying, we also look on the external for somebody else to blame rather than ourselves. So this allows us to take accountability for our own happiness, because our soul is within us, calling out, trying to get through all the clutter that is our mind. I'm saying our breath, our existence, our energy, our essence technically has shit to say. You know what I'm saying? They have a way that they want and need to live in order to be comfortable in its divinity. You know what I'm saying? Because if we're going with the idea that we are all pieces of God, that means God is within all of us. We all have this divine presence within us. So in order to cultivate that and hear it, we need to declutter. We need to observe the fact that we are observing these things. just being more aware, being more conscious, and being more intentional, being more mindful. Mindfulness is the intentional use of attention. You are not intentionally using your attention, that is a good sign that you are disregarding your soul's purpose and the reason that your soul is supposed to be on this earth. Nobody's going to know that but you. Nobody's going to know what truly fulfills you except you. So that's why it's so important that you have to listen to yourself. You have to see what it is that makes you comfortable in this current reality. And the question that I came up with, like I said, nobody else is going to know what your soul is calling you to do except you. And in order for you to feel comfortable in this current reality, you have to figure out what it is that you want. You have to figure out what it is that you require in order to live a fulfilled life in this realm. Follow your soul's purpose. Do what your soul is calling you to do. That's where the peace lies. That's where the happiness lies. That's where the abundance lies. And remembering that money is an energy that you have to embody. Following your soul's purpose puts you on and just takes you on a path to a higher vibration in order for you to attract this abundance. And on that note, thank you so much for tuning into this episode of the Money Healing Monologues. I really hope that you enjoyed this episode. I hope that it was some sort of insightful to you. Please don't forget to answer the question that is down below in the question box or the description if you're listening to it on YouTube. Wait, what did I just say? Okay, please don't forget to answer this episode's question that is down in the question box if you're listening on Spotify and Anchor, or in the description if you're listening on YouTube or Apple Podcast. Yes, my shit is finally on Apple Podcast. I figured it out and it is up there. So, period. Proud of myself. You can go listen to it on Apple Podcast. You're welcome, babe. But yeah, I'm going to close out this episode and I'm going to see you guys in the next one.